And now it's time for Lefty's Losing It. And first up, this bloke is pretty convinced that white people coming to the US from South Africa are all racist. All of them. Not grateful at all to have a new home in the land of the free, just there to be big old racists.
I need y'all to realize what Trump just did. He brought 8,000 white people out here from South Africa. Not because they need refuge, not because they need asylum. It's because he knows these 8,000 white South Africans are racist. He knows they finna come over here and they gonna be blatantly racist thinking that they still in South Africa. But these 8,000 racist gonna find out the hard way. They gonna around and find out. You can't talk that over here on our soil.
And of course, it didn't take long for the Karens to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, this is for all you YT South Afrikaners that are being shipped in by Trump. You need to know the majority of Americans don't want you here. You just jump back on another plane and fly your little racist YT supremacist butts right on back to your country. Go back to Africa.
And it doesn't even end there. Even Bishop Sean Rowe from the Episcopal Church seemed against helping white refugees from South Africa.
We can't be ourselves in the Episcopal Church and take the step of resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa. Our church has a long commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and we have historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa. Desmond Tutu is a part of, been a partner in this work for us. So we're just not able to take this step. It's not in line with anything that we're about.
So Jesus can hang out with the tax collectors and the sinners, but apparently he can't hang out with the sappers. Well, that's a very interesting delineation there. And if there was any question that white people have had a target on their back, just look at this speech by a South African politician from back in 2018. This rhetoric has clearly been around for some time.
We'll get 5 white people, 5 to 1 black person. We'll kill 5 white people. We'll kill the children. We'll kill the women. We'll kill anything that we find on our way. They kill one of us, we kill our belly.
Back to the US and onto Lefty economics. And the Oakland mayor thinks you get rid of inflation by raising the minimum wage.
You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's 7 times the current national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses?
In the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way, came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. Another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1, barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math.
Friedrich Hayek was bang on the money when he said if socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. But there is still more, and the barrage of progressives against RFK Jr. continues. And it continues to escalate. Even the Capitol Police had to get involved.
The budget I'm presenting today supports these goals and reflects...
The witness will suspend. The committee will come to order. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room. Members of the audience.
And among those arrested was Ben & Jerry's co-founder, Ben Cohen. Now, we've seen some pretty revolting carry-on from Ben & Jerry's, but I can't decide if this latest stunt is just an exercise in consistency or, quite frankly, the cherry on the top of that ice cream. Here he is again from another angle.
The audience are reminded disruptions will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individuals from the hearing room.
And lastly, and of course, this segment would be nothing without progressives indulging their children who identify as another species.
The best teacher my daughter has ever had. She lets her be as weird as she is, and she encourages it, and she enjoys it. And that is really meaningful to me and my family. She calls my daughter Ellie Cat because during attendance, my daughter meows instead of saying here. And And she doesn't make her feel bad about it. She just embraces it and she loves it. And that's really cool for me as a parent. And it's really cool for my daughter to feel seen in school.
It's no longer just fashionable enough to identify as another gender. We need to keep upping the ante on this escape from reality. I'm done. Joining me now is author and journalist Batia Ungar Sargon. Batia, I want to start with Trump's speech to the Saudi-US Investment Forum this week. Here it is.
As President of the United States, my preference will always be for peace and partnership whenever those outcomes can be achieved. Always. It's always going to be that way. Only a fool would think otherwise.
And in a post on X, you said it was probably the most momentous foreign policy address of your lifetime. Why is that?
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, as I wrote about in my Free Press column, what the president did throughout his hour-long speech was effectively repudiate both the sort of neocon warmongering of Republican administrations past, but also the kind of appeasement and attempts to find common ground and insist that everybody has the same values of Democratic administrations of the past. So he took on both, the Bush model and the Obama-Biden model and said, we're not going to do either of those things. We're going to respect the sovereignty of our allies, and we're going to respect the sovereignty of our own people, and we're going to prioritize the dignity of working class Americans by looking for partners who bring something to the table, who are able to fight their own fights and come together and put aside warring factionalism in order to pursue peace through strength and through partnership, through commerce, through the great economic boon that the president was able to generate through the Abraham Accords. So this is really a new moment in American foreign policy. They're putting aside the nation building and the failed forever wars that we've been having in this country for the last decades. Donald Trump is fundamentally anti-war. He hates war. He thinks it's unbelievably wasteful. And what he's offering both to the American people and to the globe is partnership through strength, through deals, through success, and through bringing massive amounts of investment back home to the U.S. It's really a golden age in America, and he is inviting our allies to join us if they are willing to put down their guns and their swords and pursue peace over war.